Beyond Netero is a villain, but that's not how the world sees him. Hello and welcome back to Suck War Central. Happy Pride Month! Because I'm obviously the CEO of LGBT, every single video that comes out this month is going to be in some way Pride themed, so buckle up bitches! Now some topics like this one might not actually seem Pride related, but I promise you, they are. So today, we're not exactly here to talk about queerness in the Kakin Empire or anything. If you really want that, just reread any chapter with Benjamin in it. No, we're here to discuss how the Kakin Empire and beyond Netero have pretended to be the good guys using progressive language and gestures to hide the same vile, regressive power structures that have been running the world of Hunter x Hunter into the ground since time immemorial. So join me as we dive into how the average person in the Hunter x Hunter world doesn't know a fraction of the crazy shit we know. Why don't we start with the Kakin Empire itself? As I've discussed in previous videos, Kakin has pretended to make social progress. Between the most silent revolution in history, the democratization process, joining the V5 and the Dark Continent expedition, Kakin has branded itself as leaving its brutal and repressive history behind. It's been laundering its public image into one of a developing superpower that's left its barbaric and violent ways in the past. Kakin is the nation of the future, blazing bold new trails for humanity, and passing sweeping social reforms to create a more just, verdant, and peaceful society. But beneath the surface, we see this is obviously all a farce. First of all, the military is itching for any excuse to enact military dictatorship, and thinks democracy is shit. The Kakin military doesn't exist to protect democracy, but to subvert it. The parliament is a completely powerless non-factor in Kakin's politics, and they may as well not exist. And worst of all, the Carnivare continues unabated, feeding a massive human trafficking ring and wiping villages off the map at the royals' discretion. What real-world lesson can we take from this? Well, just because you have democratically elected representatives in your government doesn't mean you can't possibly live in an oligarchy controlled by the 1% who will hack you to pieces and sell your meat at a moment's notice. Another thing to note is that despite what it pretends, Kakin is still a patriarchal society. The system of princes and kings, though it allows for women to take the throne, is designed with male rulers in mind. There are powerful female princes, women can serve important roles in the army or the mafia. Diversity win, the mob boss who's going to sell your organs and has the whole army in their pocket so you have no one to turn to for help is a woman. But they may as well be social decorations to create the illusion of progress. First of all, there's definitely a culture of a certain type of violence disproportionately affecting women within the empire, but more than that, look at the system of kings and queens. It's designed to quickly and efficiently produce as many heirs as possible, while the king indulges to his heart's content. Like, can you really imagine a woman having 14 straight pregnancies from the time she takes the throne, especially if one of the older women like Tebepa wins? And how would they know whose child is whose? DNA testing is forbidden under lèse-majesté, remember? And anyway, this was only invented recently. In other words, the entire Queen's Guard system becomes insanely complicated and difficult to perpetuate if it's the result of a harem of men and you can never be sure who the father is. So yes, although women can theoretically win the succession war, we are led to conclude that it just hasn't happened, or at least has happened extremely rarely. So yeah, the system is kind of designed with a male ruler in mind and assumes that's the only option. It relies on women not winning to function. What can we learn from this? Just because you have rights and opportunities on paper doesn't mean they're actually granted to you. Alright, we know Kakin's bad, yada yada. Let's talk beyond Netero. I want to remind you that the world sees beyond Netero as a hero and a brave pioneer. I mean, contrast his speech to the world, where he talks about taming a brand new world for humanity, of including everyone regardless of age, gender, and race, of acquiring brand new benefits for humanity to make everyone's lives better, of uniting the human race in Kakin, with his speech to his own team. In that one, he makes it clear all he cares about is his own selfish desires, refusal to be constrained by pathetic concepts like safety. He wants to explore the new world no matter the consequences. He doesn't give a shit about humanity, and he swears to crush anyone who stands in his way. Like, come on, he'd be right at home at Silicon Valley. If Nen weren't real, he'd be the next Elizabeth Holmes or Sam Altman. Wait, why did I say if Nen weren't real? Nen isn't real. Okay, well, you get what I mean. If Nen didn't exist in the world of Hunter x Hunter, that's really funny. I'm leaving this in. Anyway, he preaches working hard and overcoming obstacles and equality and working together, all kumbaya. But his entire plan hinges on taking control of the Kakin Empire and, not really changing it. He says anyone who comes to claim the new world with him is his family, and he's not lying. Because how does he treat his family? Beyond's brave, heroic persona is nothing but an act to get a hold of more bodies for his mission. Why does he need so many damn people when he knows a smaller, specialized team of nen users like the ones he has is gonna be the way to get things done? Because he needs expendables. Think about how Illumi used the butlers' lives as ammunition to ascertain how Nanaka's wishes worked. Beyond is heading to a whole continent of those damn types of creatures. And just like Illumi, he's gonna have to do some testing in order to survive the wildlife. And that means a lot of people who joined him, believing his message of innovation and progress and new frontiers, are gonna die the most gruesome deaths imaginable, if they're lucky. So what can we learn from this? Be wary of people who pretend to champion equality because they think your movement will make fine, tender, appetizing meat for the machine. In any case, in my opinion, this is what makes Beyond Netero truly dangerous. It's not that he's smart, it's not that he's some sort of incredible physical powerhouse if his threats to Kanzai are to be believed. It's not that he has formidable, sinister allies and access to the most vile nen curses we've ever seen. It's that everyone is dancing to his tune. Remember, he turned himself into the Zodiacs, anticipating the V6's request to hunt down Beyond. He submitted to all of this. He planted the seeds decades ago, forging a partnership with Kakin while plotting to take control of the country. He fucked one of the queens. He assembled his team. His team assembled a team. He prepared his announcement in advance. He knew exactly how they'd react to his announcement and anticipated it. He got the whole world on his side. Beyond Netero has made himself into a hero of the common people, and his message of uniting humanity was just so inspiring that people quickly came to ignore how he's in bed with the 1% who enslave and abuse them. Everything that's happened so far in the Succession War, every unexpected twist and turn, is well within the scope of his plan. The only person we know of who's actively resisting his design is Longhi, and good luck Longhi, you do not have the design of an important character. Even the Zodiacs are escorting him to the new continent because they have no other choice. Sure, Kurapika identified Sayu as working for Beyond, but Sayu was a Pariston plant. Whatever Beyond's plotting doesn't rely on him at all, which we know because Beyond didn't even know Sayu was on his side, meaning he doesn't give a shit about the guy. And Jing, well, Jing, one of the most formidable nen users in the world, a triple-star hunter, is on Beyond's side. He only wants to stop Pariston. The Zodiacs consider Beyond a non-issue for the moment because he's jailed and they have a frankly disgusting amount of other things to worry about. But those cell bars may as well be made of paper since Beyond willingly put himself behind them to begin with. So what can we learn from this? Nobody powerful is ever going to willingly surrender control. And if it looks like they have, they're just pretending. If a country like the Kakin Empire is going to change, it's not going to be through a bloodless democratization or a silent revolution. For all their talk of changing the world and advancing humanity, the wealthy elites only mean their own fortunes in the end. Progressivism to these people is a costume. They adopt the language of people who want to change things, throw a few bones their way, pander to them here and there, pass sham policies as proof of progress, while in reality maintaining those very power structures upon which they continue to be reliant and indulge in. Here's what might be a hot take informed by my cynical worldview and a lifetime of watching the news and being around other people. A lot of this was obvious from the very first chapter this was all introduced to us, the audience, chapter 340. Obviously, we didn't know just how evil the Kakin Empire would be and all that, but there were some clues in this chapter that made me go, okay Togashi, I see the commentary you're going for. For starters, Pion hit the nail on the head here. When Nasabi calls Kakin an emerging country, Pion points out that they're the same super old country that's just changed their name. And like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying this whole time. See, okay, I guess you guys can't see me like pointing and gesturing excitedly, but yeah, that's what I've been saying, okay? Anyway, I also knew Beyond was a con artist just from his speech alone. Look, anyone who talks about uniting humanity like that and casting aside things like race and gender is trying to sell you some bullshit. These issues pervade modern society, and they need to be meaningfully addressed before we can ever dream of uniting humanity. Anybody who says that sort of thing in this day and age is just trying to sweep whatever's wrong with current society under the rug. They talk of looking to the future, uniting humanity as it is, perfectly content to build their new world atop these foundations without ever changing a thing, because the way things are suits them fine. Beyond Netero isn't the Hunter x Hunter world's Ernest Shackleton, although he'll probably be remembered that way. He's not its Christopher Columbus, although I'm sure the idea would appeal to him. He's Captain Ahab, dragging everyone else on this boat down with him in his mad quest to tame the untamable. Happy Pride Month, Hunter x Hunter fans. I know, this video didn't seem very Pride themed, and it will get gayer, but to those who know their history, I hope the message came across. I made it, because this Pride Month I want everyone to be careful of those who talk about uniting humanity as if that's feasible or even desirable in the current state of the world. I want everyone to be careful of those who promise to deliver them from tyranny, but who only benefit from said tyranny. And I want everyone to be careful of those who claim to hold their best interests at heart, but see their rights, freedom, and dignity as nothing but a bargaining chip they're willing to give up at the negotiation table with the opposing party. I've been CJ from Suck War Central. I'll see you next time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.